join us as we enjoy the ICW and not run aground. Okay, now we've got 0.3 of a nautical mile to that marker there before we turn towards that. Our navigation charts say that it's shoaling and it's going to be about 6 feet at low water. It's about half tide at the moment and we draw 5'8", so it's going to be a little bit shallow for the next 100 meters. Hopefully nothing happens. You can actually see the cross currents now where it's shoaling over there, and you can see the cross currents. And that is the start of our ICW trip. Woo! Marker number 2. I wonder where marker number 1 is. I don't know whether I explained that this is the only stretch of the ICW that we can do to make a passage. We're going from Georgetown, South Carolina to Charleston, South Carolina, and there's only one 65-foot bridge on this section, and the rest of the bridges are all swing bridges, as opposed to the next section from Charleston down. There's like 20-something fixed bridges, and we would never be able to time the tide to do that properly. So this is the only part that we can do, and we really did want to do a bit of the ICW, even though it's motoring, just to see what it's like. A little bit disconcerting when you see an ad board over there for sea tow. Are they trying to sell us something? Ooh. What I thought was a barge actually wasn't a barge. It's actually a swing bridge. So the sign said idle speed, no wake, and then caution, floating swing bridge, stop here when yellow light's flashing. Reminds me of the bridge we had in Preveza. Hey Lou, that was a barge. Not Preveza, heading into the Ionian Sea. What was the name of that place? I forget. But it was where Rixie and Hobo were holed up on that island for the whole of COVID. Well, that's the first of the bridges, so we need to navigate. The ICW is marked with mile markers all the way, and this is mile marker 415. So we're 415 statute miles, I think these are, not nautical miles. I think it's statute miles away from the start, which is down in Florida somewhere. So yeah, the ICW is all measured miles. Okay, this is our anchorage for tonight. Pretty surreal, isn't it, really? Being in a, you just sort of, I don't know, in amongst everything, marshes and stuff like that. So yeah, the anchorage is called Ranges A, and it's on the North Sanity River in the ICW. Alrighty, this is where we are for the evening. Good night from day 1 on the ICW. And I must admit, it's been a fantastic day. Really good day. Welcome to day 2 of our trip along the ICW. This is our condensation. Hi boy. This is the condensation that's here, and this is in our cockpit enclosure, our temporary cockpit enclosure. Boy, good morning boy. How are you? Are you done your morning walk? Ah, forgot. Okay, bye. Alrighty, well I said I'd talk to you a bit about the ICW and how it was all came about. Back in the late 1700s, the United States main trade was all done by shipping, not by land. But there's a couple of places like Cape Hatteras up in North Carolina where there's over 1,000 shipwrecks along the beach there. It's a very dangerous bit of water. And Cape Fear is another spot that it was named Cape Fear because of it frightened the sailors going into and up to Wilmington. I think it was under President Jefferson they decided that they would try and find a way to make it safer for shipping around the place. So there's a Secretary of Treasury or something. He was a Swiss guy, because don't forget that America was only just independent. Anyway, so under Madison, who was the next president, they commissioned reports and studies to go from Norfolk, Virginia, which is the world's largest naval base, I believe, to find an inland way of getting down to the Gulf of Mexico, to Florida. Well, originally it was to Georgia, but then it was extended later. So it wasn't built then because there was a war in 1814 or something. I'm not sure what that was. They delayed building it, but it did get built. And so this has been around for a couple of 100 years. It was used by commercial traffic a lot, but now it's mainly used by recreational boats because the commercial boats are all so safe to go around Hatteras and Cape Fear now. So there you go, that's a quick overview of the ICW. It looks like they're making a canal or something down through there, but why would they make a canal with salt water? I don't know. And a jetty here.
What does it say on the jetty?
Probably says nick off. I don't know. Too small to read it. Don't know what it was about, sweetie. .7 knots in the ICW, or Duck Hunters Loop. See how they camouflage their boats? So there's another canal-y type thing. Work is going on, like a revetment dam. I don't know what, I'm going to have to Google it, I guess, to see what they're up to over here. It's as though they're damming it with revetments or cotter dams to keep water in the ICW as opposed to draining. But we'll have to have a look-see. Difficult helming, yeah, virtual helming. We're cruising down the ICW and we've been seeing dolphins in the ICW too, which is a treat. But we've come across this little village called McClellanville, and it's kind of dates back to the 1600s.
Gosh, look at their equipment, how rusty it is.
Wow.
It's a conveyor belt to get all the fish in, Rick. Hey.
Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, incredible amount of gear.
Travelling down the ICW, there's a lot of free docks, and this McClellanville was listed as a free dock, and it sounded kind of neat, and it's a really lovely, quaint place. It was founded in 1685, a long time ago, and settled in the area by a French family, which was a surprise to me. Anyway, come the British War of Independence, in 1700 sometime, one of the signatories of the American Declaration of Independence comes from this area, Thomas Lynch III. Mainly an agricultural place, growing rice, cotton, etc., and lately turned into a fishing village. Very quaint, lovely, friendly people. Only about 1,000 people live there, and it's worth putting on the list to go and have a look at. believe it or not, this little bit of marshy stuff here, the water the other side, is the Atlantic Ocean. So that's how close we are to the Atlantic Ocean. And it looks wonderful and still out there. Same in here.
Not good for sailing.
No, no good for sailing.
I think the stars burn brighter over here. I think the moon looks close enough to touch. I think the birds sing louder and the grass looks greener and the world ain't spinning fast enough. It's like a cosmic garden by the sea. It's like a castle built in Mexico. It's my Shangri-La and Nirvana, a divine Americana when you play that scratchy rock and roll. A theater of the earth, but oh, this is heaven, right beyond the hills of Hollywood. This is where the ladies dance in the canyon. Finally, my heart feels good. Now that you're here, I'll never be lonely. This is the real world, baby. Here in your arms, nothing can hurt me. In the valley of love.
Okie dokies. This is end of our second day on the ICW, and we are in Graham's Creek. That's the ICW there, so we've just diverted off the ICW to come here. And this is what our view is for tonight. Isn't it gorgeous? That is actually the Atlantic Ocean just there. That is it. And all through the day I have noticed these weed rafts, quite a few. But isn't it gorgeous night? Look how still it is. Got the generator going, as you probably heard in the background, because it is still a bit brisk and we need to turn the heater on. Well, that's it. That's the end of our day 2 on the ICW. Tomorrow we position ourselves just before the Isle of Pines bridge, which is a fixed bridge. Again, 65 feet, we're 66. So we have to wait for the tides early Saturday morning. So that's us, and it's good night from day 2 of Salacia's trek on the ICW. Hope you enjoyed it. We sure did. We sure did.